The biggest difference I would say in the local service ads versus a just a regular search ad is it comes with this Google guarantee or Google screen green checkbox next to the ad. What happens is the family maybe is searching on their phone, at the hospital or something, looking for services, and they search funeral services near me or whatever, and when it comes up, usually above the search results will be that local service ad. It'll be a picture of your funeral home. It'll be a little Google screen checkbox guaranteed. And that typically will catch the eye of the family.
Welcome to the Direct Cremation podcast with your host, Tyler Yamasaki. Hi, thank you for joining us on the Direct Cremation podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Yamasaki, CEO of Parting Pro, the #1 cremation arrangement software for funeral homes. If you like the content, please give us a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a comment. So the last time he was on, he shared the top 10 mistakes funeral homes make when advertising online. We received a lot of positive feedback from our listeners, so we figured we'd double down. He's the co-founder of Parting Pro, head of sales in our online marketing department. Please welcome back Albert Chang.
Hey, Tyler. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Albert. Welcome back. How have you been?
I've been good. How have you been?
Been good. We talk every day, but it's just for continuity for our listeners, pretend like we just met again.
Awesome.
All right. So last time we talked about the mistakes we make when advertising online, right?
Yep.
What are you here to talk to us about today?
Yeah. So after you posted that podcast, I had a lot of people reach out to me and just ask me a lot of questions and just talk about Google Ads in general. And I thought it'd be helpful just for educational purposes for us to kind of dive a little bit deeper in some of these topics. And one of the things I covered briefly in the podcast last time was on local service ads. And the rest of it was really about search. But I feel like it'd be helpful if this time we just dive far deeper into local service ads and what they are and why they're beneficial and what they can do for your funeral home. And that way, at least everyone has an idea of that they exist and what the difference is.
Yeah, what's really interesting is Google is going to try many different ways for you to spend money to advertise with them, right? And this is just one of the new ways in which you can spend more money and get better visibility and stuff.
Yeah.
For your funeral home. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so why don't we talk about? So I know we talk about local service, like you're mentioning local service ads. As someone who's maybe listening to this right now or just trying to picture what that looks like. Can you explain what the difference is between like local service ads, where that shows up on the page, what it might look like compared to the normal ads that we've, previously have talked about and which most people probably know by now?
Yeah, most people probably know if you search for something on Google, they'll give you a list of organic results. And then at the top, they'll have these other website links that look like search results, but it has a little sponsored word next to it. And that's basically a link to the website, right? What local service ads are is kind of similar. Is when you're searching for something, it'll pop up, but it won't be a link to the website. It'll actually be like your business name, a place to call, and then maybe your reviews and a picture of you, right? Or a picture of your business, right? So these are built specifically for local businesses, and you do have to qualify as a local business in order to basically serve local service ads. And luckily in America, funeral homes do qualify as local business. I don't believe in Canada they do yet, but in America, they qualify as local businesses. So as long as you apply and you pass the application, then you're going to be able to serve these ads. The biggest difference I would say in the local service ads versus just a regular search ad is it comes with this Google guarantee or Google screen green checkbox next to the ad. And what happens is, the family maybe is searching on their phone, at the hospital or something, looking for services, and they search funeral services near me or whatever. And when it comes up, usually above the search results will be that local service ad. It'll be a picture of your funeral home. It'll be a little Google screen checkbox guaranteed. And that typically will catch the eye of the family, right? So it just gives you a little bit more, real estate on that little phone screen that they're searching on. In addition, I would mention that if you are advertising on local service ads and your competitor isn't, you pretty much always show up at the top, right? If it's a local search. If your competitor is advertising on local service ads and you're not, it's going to be the vice versa. So if your competitor is doing it, you definitely want to do it. If they're not doing it, you probably also want to do it as well. That way you just get that little bit of real estate.
Is this different than the search ads, or is this instead of the search ads, or is this with the search ads that you would normally advertise?
You would want to run this with the search ads because once again, you got to think about real estate, right? If I'm searching for cremation services near me, first you see your local service ad, right? Then below will be the regular ads and then the organic. So you can actually show up twice or even 3 times in that screen. So you definitely want to run them in tandem. That way you get the most visibility for every search.
I see. Yeah, I'm kind of doing the search on the side as you're talking, and I can see a
take
funeral
look
home
at it,
3 different times right now.
Yeah. So you get that. If you don't get to the first one, the second one, maybe the third one. Another thing that's really important differentiation between a local search ad and a regular search ad, a local service ad and a regular search ad, is that they don't actually bring you to the website. So they actually do a direct call feature or direct message feature. So straight from your desktop, you can either scan a QR code to call, or if it's on your mobile, you just click a button and it calls directly. So the conversion rates are actually a lot higher because it only gets that someone to call you, right? Click a button to call and just gets in contact with you directly. So you actually don't pay per click. You actually pay per lead.
Can you explain what the difference might be?
Yeah. So for a regular search ad is if I click on the website, I get to your website, that's when I pay Google a fee, right? And that fee is based on whatever auction that we bid on.
Yeah.
It might be, $4 to, $5 a click or whatever that is, right? And it's all run by an auction. This is also an auction, but it's going to be for that phone call. So only when someone gives you a phone call is when you pay for that, for that lead. And that's why it's beneficial to folks that maybe don't have a huge budget, or maybe they don't have a huge area. They don't have to invest it as much in a full marketing campaign. They can run local service ads and still get whatever searches might come up because they're only paying per phone call.
Are you still bidding on keywords though, and you still have to figure out where you want to show up?
You still figure out where you want to show up. You're not necessarily bidding on keywords because you're basically telling Google, I am this type of category of business. So I'm a funeral home, and I have this type of category of services. So I offer a cremation service, I offer burial services.
I see.
And then Google will know whether or not what this person is searching for will actually fall within your level with your range of services, and then that's when they'll display you. So it's a lot less complicated than setting up a full marketing campaign. I mean, you can probably write a whole book on how to set up a full ad campaign on search.
Yeah.
Although this is not, this is relatively easy. You still probably need to spend some time doing it and making sure it's right, and making sure you're not making any mistakes. But it's relatively easier to do and manage.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Other things that are a little bit unique about the ads as well is that it's very mobile friendly, right? Because they go straight to call, so everything's optimized for mobile. So if you're on your mobile, you can search and it'll go. You can basically just call it directly, like I said before. But also you can look up things really easily. What time they're open. Other services they offer, and this is all just from your Google Business page, right? So they really push your Google Business page, and then from there, they also show reviews as well. So you do need at least one review. I would say probably 2 or 3 or more reviews to get approved. But yeah, we have people approve with one review. So Google does want to know you're a legitimate business. People see your reviews. You got Google screened. You click right to call. So it's much easier to get that first phone call and have that conversation, within a couple of seconds.
Yeah. One thing that I will say though, isn't it like when you're buying traffic, it's impossible to fully target 100%, right? So sometimes people are going to click from other states or out of area, or it's not a perfect science. So if we're paying for phone calls, what if I get a spam call or something like that? Do I have to pay? Do I have to pay for that?
That's a good question. So Google actually provides like a dashboard. So every phone call that's called through this Google local service ad is recorded, and then you can listen to those phone calls that are recorded, and then you can actually dispute phone calls as well. So you can say, oh, this phone call was not a legitimate call. Maybe they called for pet cremation, or they called for, some other random thing. And so you can dispute them. And then as of recently, they gave you a full refund if the dispute went through. I think recently they may have changed some things where they use that information to just cater to other phone calls. And they may or may not give you a refund directly like they did before, but they might have changed policies like in the last week or so.
But got it. But you still get credit for it.
You'll still get credit.
Be applied to another one or something like that.
Yeah.
I see. So what else can you tell me about local search ads?
I think what's important to know about local search ads is they have Google is a very smart company. They have a lot of intent-based, information, right? So if I'm on my phone on let's say on Google Maps searching for funeral homes near me, versus like I'm on my computer searching. It might be slightly different, right? They kind of know a lot of different things. I don't. It's like a huge algorithm they use, so they're able to target. Like if I'm in Maps, I'm searching for it. They can target me right there. I get directions. I can just map right there. So it's very very targeted to people that are looking for your services right now. So I think that's really important. And then obviously being very cost effective is important as well. So just because you're paying for every phone call you get versus paying for a lot of different clicks, you're going to be a lot more knowledgeable about your ROI right away, right? Because you're basically paying for, it's more commission based, basically paying for what you get. Whereas for search, although you can have a much broader range, there's like 100 more variables you got to account for, like how your landing page looks, what the messaging is like, all this other stuff that you have to account for as well.
Got it. Why would you run if local search ads show above everything else, and people can call me? Why would I ever want to just do search ads as well then?
Yeah, that's a good question. One is just a couple of reasons, right? One is the competition, right? If you only have local search ads, you only show up, for people looking for local search, right? Which might be great if you're a small company and that's all you want. But if you're trying to get volume, like search campaigns will actually give you a lot more volume and a lot more eyeballs. But then also your search ads can do a lot more. I can give you more context, right? We do veterans, we do dark cremation, we do this, we do that. You can tailor your messages for specific situations. You can target people in different life cycle stages, right? You can.
What does that mean? Can you elaborate? What does that mean?
Yeah, definitely. So let's say, for example, I'm searching for the future. That might be a different messaging than someone that's searching right now, right? Or like maybe I'm just interested in learning more about this particular situation, right? Because it's going to happen soon, right?
Yeah.
That might be different for someone I need this right now, right? So if you had the search marketing, you can be more specific with how you're messaging, what pages you bring them to, what your websites say, right? The local service ads are great, but all they do is just straight to the phone call.
I see.
Right? So someone that might be ready to call you right now, then they may not be a good fit for the local service ads, right? So you want to cover all your bases. So it's definitely good to have, but you definitely don't want just one avenue of advertising.
Got it.
The more advertising avenues you have, the more productive your marketing will be. Yeah. And that goes beyond just Google as well.
Okay. So if we were going to set up local search ads, how do you actually go about getting screened? Like I know it says screened.
Yeah.
How do you actually get screened? Like what does that process look like? How long does it take? I don't know. How intensive is it?
Yeah. So it's actually relatively detailed. You can't just click a button and get applied. You actually have to provide this information to Google. They do want to make sure you're legitimate business for good reasons, right? So essentially, what you need is you first need a Google business profile. You should make sure that you have all your your website on there, your hours, address, phone numbers, basically anything that you can put on there. You want to put on there pictures. You 100% do need a physical location. So you do need a physical address that Google can verify. And sometimes they might make you actually take a video, go outside your building and take a video of your door to make sure that it's a real business, right? And then once you have all the accurate business information on your Google business profile, you can apply. And then when you apply, you're going to need reviews, at least one review, but the more the better to make sure it's a real business. And then you're going to want to pass a background check. So they're going to make sure that you have I think it's changed now. So you need a funeral home license, but you also need a funeral director's license. And I think the new rule that happened in the last month or so is the funeral director license needs to be the owner. So, and that might be some gray area, but that seems like what they're doing now. So it is kind of more strict now. But if your funeral director license doesn't match the owner, we've actually had some people we work with, some funerals work that get rejected from it, which sucks. They can't do it, but yeah, that's how it is. Then you can always appeal, and there's a person you can talk to, but that's pretty much the process. And then let's say you do get approved, then you're going to want to set your ad budget. So over a week, let's say given a week, how much money you want to spend for this week. And then, obviously the price of those leads are all variable. It depends on the demand and supply in your market. We've seen people get phone calls for as low as $5, and we've seen people get phone calls for as much as $150. So It does vary quite a bit. It really does depends on the market. And then so once you have you set the budget, then you can set your area. So I want to target, this is my service area, these counties, these cities, whatever. And then you're going to want to set, this is the type of business. I'm a funeral home and I do cremation, I do burial, I do both. And then once you have that, you generally have all the pieces in place in order to start running the ads.
Got it. Have you seen this actually help more so than the search ads recently?
Yeah. So typically what we do is before we work with anyone, we'll run a forecast on the business. So the forecast will basically tell us, okay, based on these areas, if we were to spend X dollars, let's say we were to spend $2,000 in these service areas a month, how many leads can we get? Right. And based on historical data that Google has, based on how people search in the past, based on the keywords they're searching on, it'll provide some numbers. So say this is how many clicks you can get, this is how many conversions you can get, this is how much it'll cost, this cost per lead, et cetera, et cetera. And if that number comes out a little bit shy, let's say it's only 10, then this tells us, hey, your area is not super populated or there's not a lot of people searching. It doesn't make sense to run a full service ad, invest all this money in. So then we could run the local service ads, right? So there's been a ton of people where we said that too, and we just run local service ads. And like they did like 15 cases in the third month, 50 cases a month in the third month. And then I was like, oh, wow, this is actually working. So then at that point, that gives us that kind of gives you the information, gives you the evidence that you can run a full service ad, right? Because now you have data to back it up. So then you can run the full ads and take off from there. There are some folks where we run local service ads and they only get a few calls per month, right? But because they only pay per call, it still makes sense and we can still get it, right? So it's easy. It's still profitable because you're not paying for what you're not getting.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you think, let's just say you're starting a business or you have a new one that you probably want to do before you go apply? I know you've mentioned the funeral home licenses, the funeral director license, the owner and stuff like that, but what else do you need before you're ready to actually go through with it?
I think one thing you could definitely do is just make sure your business page is up to date. And I mentioned this already, but just I put as much information on the business page as possible.
Cool. Is there anything else you want to tell us about local service ads?
Yeah, I think it's just helpful for everyone to at least understand what local service ads are and also see if local service ads will work for them. Because like I said, it's really about competition for real estate. So if you're not running local service ads and your competitors are, then they're just going to see your ad. They're going to see that big picture in the Google screen every single time, right? And you're going to be down below. So it doesn't hurt to run it. And at the same time, I think it's relatively easy to manage. So if you are relatively savvy, you could, in theory, run it and start up on your own. We actually do have a little. I had someone on my team create a little checklist on what you need to be able to create that, and I'll send you the link. Maybe you can put it on the YouTube channel so people can download it.
Yeah, for sure. I'll put it in the description.
Yeah, I'll give you a step-by-step link on how to do it. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to someone on my team or me, and I can answer any questions regarding to local service ads.
All right. What is your email?
Albert@partingpro.com.
All right. So one, if you have any questions about how to set this up, Albert has created a little handout for you to download. So we will have that link in the description below. But also, if you just have any questions around ads, local service ads, or just regular advertising, you can reach out to Albert at partingpro.com. Cool. Anything else, Albert?
No, I think that's pretty. As far as local service ads goes, I think that's pretty much all I got to cover.
All right. Awesome. Well, after you get good response on this one, can you come back and tell us some more?
Yeah, I think we can talk more. I think we have a couple of other topics in the pipeline that we could talk about. But yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Well, thank you. This is a short episode, but very important. Thank you, Albert, for joining me for the Direct Cremation Podcast. I'm Tyler Yamasaki. Catch you guys next time. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you ever want to know more, please find us at directcremation.com.